All right, so we start with a flashback to 1979. Dr. Brenner is running these wild experiments on kids with supernatural abilities, and then something goes seriously wrong. There's this mysterious incident, and every single kid ends up dead except 11. Jump to March 1986, Joyce, Will, Jonathan, and 11 have moved to California. 11 lost her powers, struggling at school, and the other kids keep bullying her. One day, Joyce gets this weird porcelain doll in the mail, apparently from Russia. She cracks it open and finds a hidden note saying Hopper is actually alive. Meanwhile, back in Hawkins, Mike and Dustin have joined the high school's D&DD group, the Hellfire Club, led by Eddie Munson. Max is also going through it. She's broken up with Lucas and still grieving Billy's death. Then we've got Chrissy, the cheerleader. She starts seeing these terrifying visions of her abusive mom and this creepy chiming grandfather clock. She goes to Eddie to buy some drugs to try and calm herself down, but things take a dark turn. Chrissy gets possessed and killed by this humanoid creature that's been haunting her. We find out Hopper actually survived the Starcourt explosion. He was captured by Soviet soldiers and sent to a prison camp in Kamchatka. Joyce and Murray call the number from that doll and reach Dmitry Antonov, a guard Hopper bribed. He tells them they need to deliver $40,000 to his contact in Alaska to help break Hopper out. Mike flies to California to see 11, and he and Will immediately see how bad her bullying is. Angela pushes her too far, and 11 hits her in the face with a roller skate. Back in Hawkins, Max tells Dustin she saw Eddie running from his trailer the night Chrissy died. She, Dustin, Robin, and Steve find him hiding and explain the Upside Down. Eddie and Dustin name the creature Vecna. Nancy and Fred investigate Chrissy's death. Fred starts seeing visions of a kid he accidentally killed, gets lured into the woods, and Vecna kills him too. Sam Owens gets a visit from Lieutenant Colonel Sullivan, who's convinced 11 is behind Chrissy's death. 11 gets arrested for hitting Angela, but instead of going to juvie, Owens takes her. He tells her Hawkins is in serious danger, and that he's been working on a way to restore her powers. She agrees to go with him. Meanwhile, Joyce and Murray fly to Alaska with the ransom for Hopper. In the prison camp, Hopper bribes another inmate to smash his shackles with a sledgehammer so he can make his escape. Back in Hawkins, Nancy and Robin dig into Victor Creel and discover he claimed a demon. Basically, Vecna killed his family. Chrissy's boyfriend Jason leads the basketball team on a manhunt for Eddie, but Lucas eventually walks away from them. Max remembers Chrissy went to the school counselor, so she steals Chrissy's and Fred's files and realizes they had the same PTSD symptoms she has. She hears Vecna calling her name, sees the clock, and realizes she's next. Joyce and Murray finally deliver the ransom to Yuri, Antonov's contact. But the guy betrays them. He drugs both of them and plans to turn Joyce, Murray, Hopper, and Antonov over to the Russians for extra cash. Because of Yuri's tip, Russian authorities catch Hopper right after his escape and arrest Antonov too. In California, Jonathan, Mike, and Will try to slip away from the agents watching them, but the house gets hit by armed soldiers. They manage to escape with Argyle's help, taking a badly wounded agent named Harmon with them. Back in Hawkins, Nancy and Robin interview Victor Creel, who tells them how some supernatural force, basically Vecna, tormented and killed his family. Max, terrified she's next, writes goodbye letters to everyone and goes to Billy's grave to read his. Vecna grabs her and traps her in his mind. But Steve, Dustin, and Lucas learn music can break Vecna's spell, so they blast Max's favorite song. A portal opens and she barely escapes. Owens takes 11 to an abandoned missile silo in Nevada, where he and Brenner have built this isolation tank called Nina. It lets her relive memories from her time in Hawkins' lab. After her first session, 11 tries to escape and briefly gets her powers back, which convinces her to keep going. In California, Agent Harmon dies but gives the boys a pen with a hidden number that connects to the Nina project through a modem. They realize they need Susie in Salt Lake City to help track the location. Meanwhile, in Russia, Hopper gets thrown into a cell with Antonov thanks to Yuri. Joyce and Murray, on the flight with Yuri, manage to take him down and end up crash landing in the middle of nowhere. Back in Hawkins, Max, Lucas, Steve, Dustin, Nancy, and Robin explore the Creel House and follow flickering lights tied to Vecna in the Upside Down. Over at Lover's Lake, Jason and Patrick chase Eddie, but Patrick gets lifted into the air and killed by Vecna right in front of them. 11 starts reliving old memories and connects with a lab orderly who tells her not to trust Brenner. She also remembers the other test subjects bullying her, which makes her think she caused the lab massacre. Meanwhile, Susie helps Mike's group track down the coordinates for the Nina project. In Russia, Hopper and the inmates are suddenly given a huge feast. Hopper realizes it's not kindness, it's prepping them to be fed to the Demogorgon. He manages to steal a lighter, remembering the Demogorgon's weakness is fire. Joyce and Murray force Yuri to take them to the town where he keeps his contraband, and they decide Murray will impersonate Yuri to get into the prison. Back in Hawkins, Jason fires up the whole town against Eddie and the Hellfire Club. Steve's group finds Eddie, and Dustin notices his compass acting weird, meaning there's a new gate. They track it to Lover's Lake. Steve dives in and gets pulled into the Upside Down by vines and attacked by bat creatures, forcing Nancy, Robin, and Eddie to jump in after him. So Joyce, Murray, and Yuri bust into Russian prison and walk straight into chaos. Hopper and the prisoners are fighting a damn Demogorgon. Hopper's holding it off with a flaming spear like a legend, while Joyce and Murray drop the guards, fling the doors open, and Hopper and Enzo bolt. He and Joyce finally crash into the hug we've all been waiting for. Back home, Dustin, Lucas, and Erica figure out there's a gate at every single Vecna's murder site. They communicate this to Steve's group in the Upside Down, and they meet at Eddie's trailer as its Chrissy murder site. Robin and Eddie climb out safe, but right as Nancy is about to follow, bam, Midnight Vecna snatches her mind. That's when she learns the big twist. Vecna is Henry Creel, Victor's kid. He murdered his family with his powers, went into a coma, got scooped up by Brenner as Test Subject 001, then grew up to be the friendly, orderly 11 trusted. Turns out he's the one who massacred the lab in '79. When 11 wouldn't join his whole let's rule and eat the world plan, she went nuclear and accidentally blasted him into the Upside Down, where he burned, twisted, and became Vecna. Before Vecna lets Nancy go, he hits her with a nightmare vision. Hawkins in flames, giant gates everywhere, the Upside Down swallowing the whole town. The crew realizes he needs 4 kills, 4 gates, to pull it off. Max steps up. Use me as bait again. Let him possess me. Then you guys torch him while he's distracted. 11's out in the desert, senses the plan, and basically strong-arms Owens into flying her home. But Brenner pulls a snake move. Locks Owens up. Cages 11, says she's not ready. She figures out the truth. Papa's been trying to bring Henry back this whole time. Sullivan's army storms in, guns down everyone. Brenner drags 11 out, eats a sniper bullet, and dies begging for forgiveness she never gives. They all pile into the van, and it's go time. Meanwhile in Russia, Hopper and team are still finding a way out of prison. They find tanks full of demodogs, demobats, and a creepy smoky piece of the mind flare still twitching under glass. The whole place is basically Vecna's zoo. They finally escape, and everyone is racing back to Hawkins. Plan kicks off. Max, Lucas, and Erica hole up in the Creel attic. Steve, Nancy, and Robin creep into the upside-down version to torch Vecna's body. Eddie and Dustin pull the bat-like creatures away. Eddie stands his ground like a total badass, and the bats take him. Still hurts, man. Out west, the crew dumps a mountain of salt in a Surfer Boy pizza dough tank so 11 can jump into Max's mind. Vecna's winning, bragging he's owned the Upside Down since day one and literally created the Mind Flayer. Mike finally tells her he loves her. Boom. 11 finds another gear, rips Vecna off Max. Jason smashes the Walkman at the worst second. Max dies in Lucas's arms. 11 brings her back, but just barely. She's in a coma now. Hopper's squad torches the Russian Demogorgons, hurting Vecna from halfway across the world. Steve's team lights Vecna up with Molotovs and shotgun blasts, and he looks perfectly dead. Then 4 gates explode open. Hawkins splits in half. 2 days later, everyone's back together. Town's calling it an earthquake. Will feels the chill on his neck. Ash is falling like snow. Vines are crawling in. Vecna's still out there? Season 5's coming, and it's gonna be brutal.